afternoon, I'm Amy Logan.
And I'm Liam Bruce. This is Kelly News with your election special. It's 4 o'clock.
It comes as no surprise to say it was a good election for the SNP. Nicola Sturgeon will be First Minister for the next 5 years.
However, the SNP failed to renew their majority, only 2 seats shy of the finish line, which could lead to an entirely different style of decision making. It's not the first time that Scotland has had a minority government, and it seems certain that in the days to come, partnerships will be forged and deals will be struck.
In the first of our special reports, our political editor Ronnie Charters has all the details from the night.
The walk of a winner. An all-smiling Nicola Sturgeon strolled into the Emirates Arena with reasonable optimism after polls suggested the SNP would romp to another majority victory. Greeted by the many activists and SNP candidates, the First Minister waltzed through the crowds, thanking those who gave up their time to help in the Glasgow count. It was a stomping night for the SNP in Glasgow as they swept aside an embattled Labour Party to turn the city yellow, but they surprisingly stopped short of their target of 65 MSPs to win a majority. The First Minister may have increased her majority to over 10,000 in Glasgow's south side, but will not have control over Holyrood. Despite this, the First Minister is still adamant her party will stand up for Scotland.
I have nothing but confidence in this great country of ours. It will be my honour to lead it, and I will always do it to the very best of my ability. Thank you very much indeed.
After a result came in as cheers from the SNP supporters throughout the night became a familiar backdrop. Maryhill and Springburn, Pollock, Provan and Rutherglen all fell to the Nationalists as the Labour vote crumbled across the country. For the first time since the Scottish Parliament began, Labour finished third in the election, with the party leader Kezia Dugdale losing her constituency contest to the SNP, but winning a seat on the regional list. In total, Labour lost 13 seats across the country. That being said, senior Labour figures back Kezia Dugdale to remain as Scottish Labour leader.
I think it would be wrong and a folly on our part if we thought this was somehow purely a personality issue. It's not. Kezia Dugdale is the right leader for the Scottish Labour Party. She's got the confidence, the charm, the charisma to lead us going forward. She's put us on the right track in terms of a policy platform.
It was a stunning night for the Scottish Conservatives as they swept Labour aside. Now titled the Leader of the Opposition, Ruth Davidson surprisingly won her seat in Edinburgh Central, rounding off a resounding night for the party, and the new opposition leader was quick to challenge the SNP.
But if I am, by any small measure, elected to be the main opposition party, I promise that I will serve to the very best of my ability. It's a role that I take seriously.
Eyes of Labour also contributed to the successful nights for the Greens and Liberal Democrats. Despite not winning a constituency seat, Patrick Harvey saw his party deliver their best ever result in an election. Amongst the cheering fans, Harvey gave an optimistic message about the future with the Greens.
It's really beyond our wildest dreams, beyond what we've managed to do in the past. The scale of a campaign that we've put on, the ability to reach those voters who've thought about voting Green in the past and haven't, to reach them with a strong message about how we can push the Scottish Government beyond its comfort zone.
Despite retaining the same number of MSPs, the Lib Dem saw an increase in their vote share in this election, as well as winning a key battleground seat in Edinburgh Western. Alex Cole-Hamilton claimed victory in the capital by fending off both SNP and Conservative candidates and is overwhelmed with the win.
This is an important milestone on the Lib Dem fight back, and I think with gaining unexpectedly both Edinburgh Western and North East Fife against the odds shows that the Lib Dems are back, and you can never write us off.
It was a night of mixed emotions for parties in Scotland. Ecstasy for the Tories as they moved Labour aside into second spot. The Lib Dems and the Greens showed some successes, but for Scottish Labour it was another harrowing result in an election. The SNP will form Scotland's next government, although it will not be the majority they would have hoped for. Nicola Sturgeon will remain Scotland's First Minister, but the next 5 years will not be as smooth as she was expecting. Ronnie Charters, Cali News, Glasgow.
While there may have been some celebrations for the SNP, it wasn't good news for all, in particular the Labour Party. We caught up with members of the public in Glasgow to see if they've expected Labour's shortcomings.
No, I didn't, and I think that is surprising, but I think what Labour haven't managed to do is be very clear about what they stand for. They're very clear that they don't agree with the SNP, but I don't think they've been clear enough about what it actually is that they will do.
Yes, I did actually. Because the Labour vote just melted. I'm a traditional Labour supporter, but over the last few years I didn't agree with Tony Blair and his approach, and I also thought a lot of people were possibly in sinecures.
No chance due to like the whole socialist history of Scotland and the whole kind of shipyards and stuff like that. But I think that just kind of shows how desperate the political field is in Scotland, to be honest. That's how kind of bad it is at the moment.
Inevitable. That was the word used to describe the likelihood of an SNP majority. Ryan Rowe has more on where the party fell short.
The SNP failed to win 4 key seats in the election. Orkney, where Lib Dem Liam MacArthur held off the backlash following the Alistair Carmichael scandal last year. Aberdeen West, where the Conservatives exploited fears over the direction of the oil industry. Dumbarton, where Jackie Baillie held on with the smallest majority of the night. And Ayr. Ayr's famed for its quaint retirement homes and sea views, fish and chips on the beach and its racecourse. And into Holyrood elections, the constituency was a clear 2-horse race. Despite being home to nationalist icon Robbie Burns, Ayr has been a Conservative stronghold for decades. Conservative MSP John Scott took control of the Holyrood seat in 2000 and has presided over the area ever since. This made it one of the SNP's main targets, and the immediate reaction to defeat was one of disappointment.
I'm gutted for her. She fought a really hard campaign and the whole team as well. We're out.
Mr Scott gained public support following his successful campaign to save Ayr Hospital's A&D unit, and he had a clear message for the SNP.
Independence referendum in 2014, a once-in-a-generation opportunity. The Scottish Government must stick to that now and get on with governing the country. You cannot give 100% of your energy to 2 different things.
The Ayr constituency is divided, but Mr Scott is a popular man.
It's just a bit of a shock to see the map coming up with this one wee spot of blue, and it happens to be here.
I'm absolutely delighted. I've always been a Conservative and always will be. They do the best for you.
Being a small business owner myself, I'm hoping, really hoping, they can do wonders for us or bring Ayr up to the way it used to be.
So constituencies like Dumbarton, Orkney and Ayr were key in preventing that foregone conclusion of an overall SNP majority. The First Minister was born about 15 miles north that way up the west coast in Dreghorn, but that Ayrshire influence wasn't enough to wrestle this seat from the Tories. But no one expected that blue sea of votes. So what next is on the horizon for third place Labour? Ryan Rowe, Cali News, Ayr.
Now, speaking of what's next for Labour, our political analyst Michael Houston has some breaking news. Michael.
Yes, Liam, it seems that Scottish Labour's only MP Ian Murray has came out and attacked Jeremy Corbyn, saying he is not appropriate for the 2020 general election. Jeremy Corbyn has since came out and said that he's very happy within his job and that he will carry on doing it. Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell has said that critics within the party should put up and shut up, and has urged everyone within the party to get behind the democratically elected leader.
So who were the winners and losers of the night?
Well, the main winners were, of course, the Tories. They managed to get 24 regional seats on top of the 7 constituency seats they already got. That means that they are now the main opposition in Holyrood. On top of that, the Green Party had a really good election as well. They managed to pick up 4 more seats than they had in the last election. They are now at a record 6 regional seats. SNP, they had a good night as well. Maybe a bit disappointed they lost out on a couple of constituencies, and the regional seats could have went a bit more in their favour. However, there is only one clear loser in this Scottish election, and that is the Labour Party. They only managed 24 seats in total, 21 of them were regional seats. However, if the regional seats had went their way, they could have taken them away from the Conservatives. It seems like a lot of Conservative voters are floating Labour voters who went onto the blue side instead this year. And that, in the end, cost Labour second place.
And finally, the next Mayor of London will be announced within the hour. Labour candidate Sadiq Khan and Conservative candidate Zach Goldsmith are the main contenders competing to replace current Mayor Boris Johnson. Mr Johnson chose not to stand for a third term.
That's all we have for now. Join us again at 10 for more analysis. Goodbye.
Goodbye.